Alright YouTube, how's it going? Buster here. Well, I know I said I wasn't going to buy any more guitars, but you should know me by now. This guitar has been up for a wee while on Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree. And I always remember seeing one when I was in, always I was going to the guitar store on a Giles Street in Glasgow. Used to be next to like a kind of pawn shop type thing. Used to go in there and look at guitars. I actually bought my Aria Pro 2 Maddox from there. I told that story before. I bought a Westfield B-bass, first fret fell out it. Went back, they offered me a replacement bass. I obviously said no, and then I ended up with the Aria Pro 2 Maddox. When I used to always go in there for like guitar stuff, for like leads, and look at what guitars they had and stuff. And I always remember seeing one of these sitting up. When you walked in, there was all the guitars down there, and there was a counter facing you slightly to the right of the shop, and just sitting up on the wall was a natural one of these. Now when this came up, I got it for a good price. His original asking price, it just dropped and dropped and dropped, and eventually I just offered him an amount of cash for it, and he basically originally said no, but within 20 minutes he phoned me back, messaged me back and said, aye, you can take it for that price if you come and get it right now. So I did that. So I fitted some new strings to it. It didn't have any volume, tone, or the 2-band EQ split knob on it. I cleaned it all up. There was strap buttons missing from it, so I've did all that just now. So the strings are still bedding in. I usually like to leave the strings. I get a basic setup to begin with, then I leave it for 24 hours. Then I set it up again, let the strings stretch and stuff. And with these strings, I'm not taking any chances because these strings were expensive. So the guitar I am talking about is a Hohner jack. Now I've done a video of my B-bass that I've got, a Hohner B-bass, if you want to look back at the videos. Basically what it is this and the B-bass are the exact same bass, constructed the exact same way. The only difference is the B-bass has got a headstock, this one hasn't. So this is still, it's got the EMG active pickups, well, active circuit. So you can either have it passive or active. It's got an active switch. Exactly the same setup as the B-bass. If you want to check out the B-bass, exactly the same setup. 3-piece straight through neck. You can't see it in the video, but if you looked at the video of the B-bass, you'll see when I turn it round at the back, you can see the 3 strips of mahogany. With this you can actually see where the paint's kind of indented, so you can see the 3 strips. This one's mahogany as well. Because what I did was I took off this cap that holds the string on, because one of the screws was slightly loose. So I took it off and I put a wee bit of WD-40 down there. Also took this off, took off the truss rod adjuster, a small bit of Vaseline, a wee bit of WD-40, put it back in, ran it back and forward a few times, just to make sure that it didn't strip or anything. And you can actually see, when I took this off, you can actually see the mahogany. I don't feel you won't be able to see that, but down there you can actually see the mahogany. So this is a solid mahogany body, which I thought the B-bass was, but I stand corrected. I thought it was walnut. It's not, solid mahogany as well. A wee bit more research. Didn't have any strap buttons, so I've just put on black These came this morning, just the black locking ones. I'm trying to think what else. So the strings that I've got on it, as I put on most of my guitars, is the Local Sounds RS66s. Well, these are basically double ball end versions of the RS66s. So these are RDB 66 LDs. These are expensive, very expensive. For RS66s I pay about 18 pounds. These were £25 for these. Second most expensive bass strings I've ever bought. The most expensive are the Drop Zones by Local Sounds, and they're on the Duff McCain bass. So these are the original AMG knobs on this. These came off of the B-bass, because what I'm going to do is, well, I'll tell you the story. When I ordered the strings and the knobs, I couldn't get the stack knob. I have to wait for that. But while I was sitting, I already ordered them, sitting thinking last night, went, why don't I put gold ones on the B-bass? Because the B-bass has got gold machine heads and a gold bridge. So I've ordered gold ones now. So I've got 4 black ones that I'm not going to use. Well, I'll find a use for them at some point. Obviously bought, I had to buy 4 interlocking strap buttons, so now I've got 1 spare. Yeah, so this is differences between this and the B-bass apart from the headstock. Scales exactly the same. The B-bass, the battery for it, for the active circuit, is under the control panel, but this one has got the wee latch, which is very rare to have this still on it. Usually this falls off. So you've got the battery, and this is the high and low output for when you've got it on active. The B-bass one is more like the Court, but it's got a hole here, which you put the screw in. So this is earlier than the B-bass, because originally the Steinbergs, it used to run off of 2 9-volt batteries, and so that would be the very early Steinberg. So if you've got one that needs 2 batteries, that's the early Steinberg. That you probably find that's probably an original Steinberg that's got that. Then after that, because I've had an original Steinberg and it had 2 batteries that run off of a 18-volt circuit, I think. Then they changed it to 9-volt circuit. Then rather than changing the battery box, that's where they put the high and low for changing the frequency for the active circuit. And then they had it in the wee box. Then later on, they changed it to the back into the compartment, so the battery would be in here, and then you've got a wee hole with the screw. I'm only going by the Steinberg basses, Hohner basses that I've had. I've actually, while I'm talking to you, I'll dig this B-bass out. Actually, I should just literally put it away to show you the slight differences. I said I'm only going by what Hohners and stuff that I've had over the years. I'm sorry I've already my original Steinberg copy. So if you look at the back of the bit, this is the Hohner B-bass. So you can see they're pretty much the same guitars. This has got gold hardware with a drop D bar on it. So I've took the knobs off of this, and I'm going to put gold ones on this, so it's all gold hardware, because I think it'll look pretty smart. You see it's got the kind of headstock. So as I said, the battery's in here for this one, and that's your adjustable preamp there, high and low. So that's that's younger than this because the battery's in the compartment and the control, the preamp adjuster is coming through the control panel. This is probably slightly older. The guy said it's 1989, I'm not too sure. It's got a serial number. But Hohner, I don't know. Could be 85 because it's 9002385, so it could be 1985. I don't know. So battery, and that's obviously a preamp adjuster there. Then, as I said, the very original ones, it was an 18 volt circuit, so that would be 2 batteries in there, and then you'd have to take off the control plate to adjust the preamp circuit. Yeah, they did different variations of this. They've got one of these with a double humbucker, then they've got one of the older, like, well, the kind of younger ones of them, 90s. It's got a PJ configuration. So this is, I think, maybe 85. I've changed the selector switch as well. I've put one of these black rubbers, so it's all black. And the minute I did it, it looks cool. I actually really like it. At the bottom, it's got 2 strap buttons. It's got a dual purpose. As I said, the Hohner B-Bass is exactly the same. It's got 2 as well. It's got a dual purpose. That with the B-Bass, I think it's more of a looks thing. With the jack, it's actually to stop you from damaging these. Because if you've got a black Steinberg, the one, the kind of coffin shaped one, it's got them as well. And obviously you can either, it's like a kind of quick adjustment to where you want your bass to sit. You can either have it there, or do the old Mark King and have it away up here. So I'll let you see it. It's not going to be too much. It's pretty much exactly the same. That's all right. You'll probably hear this get in. There you go, put the preamps on. I'll turn it back out just now. So it's exactly the same as the B-Bass. Exactly the same. So you've got neck, volume up, no preamp. You can tell that the preamp's not on because the light's off. So light's off, that's you. You're just straight volume, no tone. Tone doesn't work with that. Your tone doesn't work. Your tone only works with your active circuit. So that's bridge. No, sorry, that was neck. This is bridge. So then both on, active circuit on, then you can mess about with the bass, treble. No mid on this, no mid scoop, so it's just bass and treble you've got. Then you can adjust it at the back. These strings are really new. Yes, pots are a wee bit scratchy. I'll give him a wee clean up. The reason up now it's been getting used. So there is differences between this and the B-Bass. Obviously headstock's one of them. Body shape is very... The differences of body shape is obviously it's been scooped. If you put the bodies right next to each other, here is exactly the same, but they've moved everything up because they've had to put this cutaway in to get these tuners in. So you can see the differences between where the pickups are. There is differences, try to get this so you can see it. There is differences, but the body shapes are near enough exactly the same. So I think this is slightly wider, slightly longer with a chop out of it. The neck is totally different, totally different feeling neck. The B-Bass neck is slightly thinner, so that's probably like a C-shaped neck. This is a D-shaped neck. The reasons for that is obviously because it's headless. They've obviously beefed up the neck to compensate for not having a headstock. But apart from that, it's exactly the same bass. Both bass are exactly the same bases, same shape, you know, same shape, straight through construction. So if I was to strip the paint off of the jack, that's the way that would look. So you can see the 3-piece neck coming all the way down through the body. Then obviously the wings either side. So that's, if I was to strip the jack, that's exactly what the jack would look like, stripped and obviously stained. I'll give you a wee update on this once the gold hardware comes in. I think that's going to look really nice with the gold hardware. The only thing it's not going to be gold is the switch and the jack socket, sorry. The jack socket on the jack is still silver. I don't think I'm going to bother changing that to a black one unless anything happens to it. If it gets damaged, then I'll change it to a black one, but I'll keep it silver just now. This hasn't got rotor sounds on it. This still got the strings. The strings were pretty much brand new when I bought this, so I haven't bothered changing them. Same active circuit and everything, so see there's a switch there. Exact same pots and everything. Yeah, so what I'm looking for now is I'm actually looking for one of the black Steinbergs now. So, if anybody knows anybody who's got one and wants to do a wee trade, a wee swap, I'm sure I've got something there that I could trade for it. So I'd happily get one, but I want one. I don't want one that's been butchered or anything. I want an original one that's not been converted to take non-ball end strings. I want one that will take the ball ends, so it's a proper headless. Because you can get a conversion kit for this. I think Mad Malcolm got it for his, where basically you put the string in exactly the same and it locks up here. And then you just tune it exactly the way you would tune it. But this has got proper ball ends in it. I don't see the point in that. I could have done it, but if I'm going to have a headless bass that takes double ball end strings, I'm going to have double ball ends on it. I'm just that OCD about it. But this looks absolutely amazing. So this is definitely not leaving my collection, this is staying. Same with the B-Bass. Once the B-Bass is... I actually bought this because the jacks are hard to find. And this is probably the closest I ever got to a jack. But I really like this bass. It's a lovely bass. I like the fact that it's walnut, or maple, sorry, no maple, mahogany. As I say, I thought this was originally walnut, but it's a walnut finish. So it's a mahogany body with a walnut finish. Because I've done more obviously research when I got the jack, so that's what comes under on the catalogue, is walnut, body, neck, and no. Get myself all confuddled here. So it's a mahogany body and neck, walnut finish, and that's a mahogany body, neck, wings. Obviously 80s sparkly red finish. So yeah, the stain, they call this the walnut stain, but it is the wood. If you look at the description of this, the B base, it does say mahogany body, 3-piece mahogany neck, and mahogany wings. That's the same. So yeah, I was normally, if I look up, I usually stop the video and start, but I'm 20 minutes in, so I've got things to do today. So there you go. So Hohner Professional Jack, and this actually is, this is not just a standard jack, this is a Hohner Professional The Jack Bass Custom. So, and this is the Hohner Professional B-Bass. So there you go, side by side. Eventually what I will do is, once I do, I'll put the gold hardware on this, but I will search out and look out for the EMG knobs for this. So I've got the original knobs. They should have, obviously the knobs off this are not on that. So I will look out for a set just so I've got them with the bass. So yeah, there you go. 2 Hohners, the Professional series. It plays amazing. I've just been messing about with it. I actually kept the original ball end strings, but what I did is I put them in a bag, so leaking out. I put them in a bag and sprayed some WD in it just to keep them, and I'm going to clean them just as a spare set of strings, because they're expensive. As I said, I'm trying to find something to make my hands with. They are expensive, so I'll be keeping them clean, and they'll probably not get changed again until they go rusty. So that's the video for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. As I said, if you know anybody who's got a Hohner, the black one that looks like a wee coffin, that's interested in trading for something, I've got quite a few stuff. I've got a Gretsch short scale that I would trade. I've got a Jagger short scale that I would trade. I've got a Dean Halsbro that I would trade. I've got a Colt that I would trade. An Ibanez that I would trade. An SR300 that I would trade. I've got an LTD that I would trade for a Hohner B2A. I think it is. Professional B2A is the one. No, I'll find out what one. I would take anyone, but I would ideally like the one with the same pickups on it as that. I don't know what one that is. But the B2A is the B, don't know what the B stands for. The 2 is 2 humbucker and A is active. I don't know what the B stands for actually. Does it tell you that? It just tells you 2 humbuckers are active, that's what the 2A stands for. The B, I don't know what it stands for, I don't know what the B stands for, does it say that? I don't know, I need to find that out. But yeah, there you go. Then I think once I got the black one headless, the B2A, I think if I got that, I'd be happy with that. Would be my Hohners, because then ideally I would like to go and get my mate who actually has got my B2A, or who had it originally, was to get that off him, but I think he's sold that, so I think I've lost that, so I'd like to get another one. Cool, so hope you've had a nice weekend. Hope you like the video. Catch you soon. Carry on.